Hey, this is Booker T, WWE Hall of Famer, and you're listening to the Awesome Wrestling Show. Now can't you dig that, sucker?
Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
Episode number 88. This is Awesome Wrestling Show. I am Glenn Moore, joined here by Steve Guy. Before we get into the show, I want to do a little housekeeping.
Ooh.
iTunes, subscribe to us, leave a comment, please. Leave a rating. It takes 2 seconds to do that. We really appreciate when I get our iTunes ranking up there. So if you go on iTunes, if you have an Apple phone or a MacBook, it takes 2 seconds to hit the 5-star button. If you want to give us 5 stars. If you want to comment, good or bad, I don't care. Tell us we suck. Tell us we're awesome. Leave a comment and then subscribe to us. We really appreciate it. Our numbers have been going up, and we really appreciate everybody listening and like I said, subscribing and leaving a comment. Also, we're on Stitcher. So if you have an Android phone, you don't have iTunes, you can go on Stitcher and download the app and search us, and we have a Stitcher feed as well. Also, Libsyn, if you want to directly download the MP3 old school style. A couple of people came up to me in the old AIW show, the past one, and was like, I don't like apps. I just want to download the file. Where can I download the file? Well, you can go to the link where we post on our Twitter feed and Facebook, and you can directly download the MP3. So plenty of ways to get us onto your phone, into your headphones, and into your mind when we talk professional wrestling. Follow us on Twitter at TIA Wrestling, Facebook as well. This is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com. So there you go. Our guests this week,
So many.
we have Hornswoggle and Brian Myers, a.k.a. Curt Hawkins, 2 main guests on the show. And we're airing part 1 this week. So I think we have cameos. Billy Gunn is going to be in part 2.
Yes.
So he's in part 2, so that's next week. Little Guido, does he make it?
He makes it into part 1.
Okay, so, but for the next 2 shows, we're going to do part 1, part 2.
Guido might be in both.
I think so. I think he was kind of like...
He stuck around for a minute.
So he's straddling both shows, both parts of our show. So part 1, 20 minutes with Hornswoggle and Brian Myers. And then next week is part 2 with some cameos. If you haven't listened to Billy Gunn, go back. There's 2 parts of Billy Gunn you guys need to listen to with him. Some great stuff with Badass, the One, Kip, the Kipper, whatever you want to call Billy Gunn. It's there. So that's our guest this week. Plenty of topics to get into, Mr. Guy.
Yeah, when you said that we were going to take care of housekeeping, I got really nervous that we were going to have to clean the studio.
Oh, studio's clean.
Yeah, it looks nice. That's why I was like,
clean.
what are you talking about, Glenn?
Yeah. Steve Guy was not here last week.
Nope.
We're going to get to that later on with our awesome finish.
That's right.
But
are you giving me the awesome finish?
No.
Okay.
No. Now, so I had a person message me on Twitter. Did you listen to the show last week at all?
No, I did not listen to it yet.
Did
I will,
you listen?
I always go back and
okay,
listen.
so the intro.
Huh?
Did you listen to the intro? You haven't listened to the intro?
No, I haven't listened to it at all yet.
So for those who didn't listen to last week's episode, here is the intro.
Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and... I mean, welcome. Seth Rollins laughing over me.
Man. So the person that came up to me and asked me about that was like, was Steve upset about that? I'm like, I haven't gotten a text from him.
Like
so
I was a joke or something.
Like, not a joke. We're on the show. So
yeah.
I had to do something. But so that was last week's intro, Steve.
Well, it was funny.
Very good.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We have some TNA-centric things to talk about.
What?
TNA Slammiversary was this past Sunday. They almost didn't have the show. We'll talk about that. But first, let's pay homage to a man that if you grew up in the Attitude Era, this voice echoed throughout your ears, and many theme songs they still do to this day. Chris Warren, who was the front guy, the main singer for the DX band, has passed away, age 49 years old. Of course, we know him for the DX song that we're playing right now, but also Triple H, My Time.
Yep.
And also Vince McMahon's
No Chance in Hell,
which is still used to this day. So,
absolutely.
Did it say how he died?
I did not see. No, I've yet to see how.
So I'm not sure how he died.
Just that he did.
But Chris Warren, age 49, suddenly was a sudden death, has passed away, and not sure how he passed away. But he was a man with the vocals of those of the songs. So rest in peace, Chris Warren. And I saw a lot of people commenting on like people's posts who are, hey, Chris Warren passed away, DX band, which is like huge for wrestling fans.
Right.
But this guy was not John Morrison. I mean, this guy was not, Mr. he was
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison. I'm sorry, Jim Morrison.
I was like, what do you mean? I know.
I'm thinking John Morrison,
John Morrison's the wrestler. Yeah.
Jim Morrison. I apologize.
Yeah.
He wasn't, any rock and roll type guy that we know. He wasn't no John Lennon or anything. But I mean, he was big to us because he was the lyrics of the DX song, which was in our time growing up was the cool thing to sing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I'm looking at right now, still details not known at this time. But, yeah, man, he was a part of a lot of songs. They did have one major faux pas there when they attempted to do the national anthem.
Oh, my goodness.
For the one show. And then later was in America the Beautiful.
Do you think he got money when they used DX theme, like even to today? Or Vince still uses? Do you think he gets
like
money
residual
from that?
money?
Yeah. Do you think he still gets, or was it like, hey, we're going to pay X amount of dollars for the song
just to do this, and then we have the rights?
And we have the rights to it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I wonder. Maybe,
that is a great question.
I don't know. I assume Jim Johnson probably was like, we're going to give you X amount of money to record this song. Now it's ours. So I don't think he was probably getting money every month from WWE.
I don't think so either.
If Scott Hall was not getting paid for WWE Network until now,
probably not.
I'm sure Chris Warren was not getting any monthly paychecks from WWE. So, so Chris Warren, DX band, has passed away. We're going to talk also about Brother Nero.
Brother Nero.
We're going to talk of the god awful Matt Hart. Well, you know what? It's awful. It's so good. It's awful, and it's so awful. It's good.
Yeah.
You can go both ways because it is good, but it's awful. And it's awful, but it's so good. So we're going to talk about that as well. But let's get into TNA. TNA Slammiversary was this past Sunday in Orlando. I thought above average, decent pay-per-view. I watched the whole thing. 3 hours, just like a WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It had some title matches. No really big surprises, but you had a lot of AIW alum, DJZ, Allison Kay, you had Jade, Gail Kim, who wrestled for AIW, EC3. So a lot of different...
Grado, right?
Grado was there. Grado's looking great, too. He just keeps losing weight.
Yeah, keeps getting in better shape.
I don't even know what his diet is, but this guy drinks like a horse. And
when it comes to Cleveland, it's melt.
Jeez. But yeah, so above average pay-per-view for TNA, and which leads into Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy, and Matt Hardy. Had an excellent match. Great ending. Jeff Hardy got the win if you haven't watched it. But if you're TNA, you're just throwing your hands up saying, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to have you guys take your iPhones, record a promo for us down in Carolinas, and we're going to, you're going to edit it yourself.
This stuff is weird.
In, iMovie with all the basic default settings, and produce it and just, send it to us. We're going to air it. We're going to put it on YouTube. There you go. But what is going on with Matt Hardy, man?
I couldn't tell you. How about that hair that he's dyed? that hair job. I mean, first of all, his hair in general.
It's crazy.
Like, big, wigged out thing. And then he's got just that spot hair. Like, he reminds me of the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Right? Remember she had the weird, crazy hair like that?
And according to EC3, it's just toilet paper putting in your hair.
Yeah, just toilet paper going over your hair. That was a great mockery of it.
Yeah.
Do you think that when they're doing these promos, like it's Matt and Jeff, and then like they're using each other's iPhones, like they're just recording it for each other?
That's a good. Well, no, because there was a shot. Well, then that could be the wife.
Like, I grew up with siblings, and I feel like, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we would do. Like, somebody would video the other ones, and I feel like that's maybe what they're doing now. Almost like they reverted back to when they were wrestling as kids and probably videotaping.
So this was a 3...
Or maybe...
So you had Matt Hardy's wife be involved, too. So
right.
She was in the video, and you had EC... Not EC
maybe their
EC,
dad's doing it.
You had, Matt and Jeff, but you don't see all three at the same time in the video.
Right.
You had a nice drone shot with...
Yeah.
Nice drone shot. Whoever got that drone, kudos to them.
That was sweet.
Put that to work.
What about the landscaper?
Yeah, the landscaper. And what was up with those sculptures? And Jeff Hardy's like by the lake. Like it's spelled like his name or something. At last down, I don't even know. But they live out in fucking North Carolina.
Yeah,
dude.
I like Jeff Hardy rolling up on his dirt bike.
Someone did a... So they had Jeff Hardy on a bike, and they used the sound effects from Excite Bike.
Oh, man, I love that game.
They had the sound effects for Excite Bike playing as they showed the video. So that was terrific. But hey, I mean, it got people talking. It's not a your. I mean, it's so bad. It's good, and hey, it got me invested into Jeff and Matt Hardy, which I have not been a big Hardy fan, even back in the TLC days, WWFE days. It was never a Hardy guy, but with Matt Hardy going off the deep end and being this awkward character, I was interested in watching this match.
Yeah, I don't know how off the deep end he went, because he, like I said, he did find himself in a little bit of controversy before the show on Sunday.
Yeah,
with his tweets. Of course, the whole world knows by now of the tragedy that happened in Orlando, and then here's Matt Hardy tweeting, "I'm in Orlando, where the horrific shooting took place. My condolences to all. Let me entertain you with my handling of Brother Nero tonight."
Oh, boy.
Ugh.
I mean, okay, they're wrestling characters. He's a heel. I mean, okay. If we're really going to get upset about Matt Hardy's tweets.
Yeah, some people did not like it.
He
I get
trolls.
what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He was trying to... He was coming from a good place with it, I think. Because then his next tweet is escapism.
Yeah.
He's just trying to say, hey, come get your mind taken off of things.
Yeah.
Let's try to have some fun if we can.
So after the match, obviously Jeff Hardy won. So after the match, Matt Hardy posted a video. It's 5 minutes long. And it's just him looking into the camera, making weird faces, and looking outside the window, banging his head on the window, like just really crazy off-the-wall thing, which, like I said, if you're TNA, you know what? Fucking do it. Like, why not? What we got to lose?
It's so bizarre, though.
But it's so bizarre, but it gets me invested into Matt Hardy again.
Yeah.
And if it was just, hey.
What about when Jeff goes off the deep end as Willow?
I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of the body paint. And
that's so weird, too.
This is a very, very
Willow is here.
I don't get that. I did enjoy, when EC3 was trying to hunt down Willow in the woods and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was entertaining. But, hey, Matt Hardy will do this. I'm entertained enough to sit there and watch the match. And the match was not that bad for two guys who are veterans. It wasn't bad at all. He even powerbomb Jeff on a keyboard.
Oh, my.
And basically missed the keyboard. It was basically a hardcore powerbomb onto concrete.
Ouch.
Jeff was taking some weird... Dude, I don't know how old
bumps.
Jeff is, but that dude's been taking bumps for years.
I think he's like 40 at this point.
Whew. But Slammiversary almost didn't happen, Steve.
Oh, that's crazy.
TNA, we talked about this before, all the money problems with TNA. And, you and I, we don't know for sure what is exactly going on. All these different reports.
I will say that I have on a good, reliable source.
Okay. You breaking news here?
Well, I guess maybe. But in regards to this, the paying thing is not as... It does happen, but it is a bit exaggerated and is not as awful as everybody makes it out to be. And that's coming directly from a TNA roster member.
EC3.
That I shall not name. Not EC3.
Yeah, I would, and I heard it's not wrestlers not getting paid on a regular basis. It's more behind the scenes people. And which is not a good thing. But the production company that runs TNA production-wise is the Harris Brothers company that we talked about before. So TNA owe them money. And this is coming from a Facebook post of the TNA chief financial advisor guy. And he went on a long spiel about how he had to, be on the phone for 12 hours trying to get money. And if they didn't get money for the production company, then there would have been no show because all the production set would have been gone for TNA. So you know who came and saved the day? Here we are in 2016. We're talking about professional wrestling, and the frontman for Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, is putting up money to be a small part owner, just so TNA can put on a pay-per-view in June of 2016. This is where we are at in wrestling, folks. Smashing Pumpkins frontman is saving the second largest wrestling promotion in the world.
He is now the John Thorne of TNA. But John Thorne never had any rock hits.
He is, because John Thorne is part of creative for puts up money.
Yeah.
And Billy is, he is doing creative too. But Billy's on TV. John
doesn't he likes to be behind the camera, behind the scenes.
Not. So is he more of a... Well,
I don't know who he is more of.
Yeah.
But it is... I mean, it's such a ludicrous band. Smashing Pumpkins.
Bill, this guy would be... I've been watching Smashing Pumpkins when I was a kid, and that guy's a... I don't know, I thought, that guy's a wrestling fan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What? Are you serious?
You think of hardcore rock, and you're like, okay, those guys could be wrestling fans. Smashing Pumpkins. Remember that goofy video they had, and it was on almost like a puppetry kind of thing. They were in a crafty
awkward.
kind of and I'm like, that doesn't strike me as being wrestling. Nothing was action oriented.
No.
If you told me one of the Beastie Boys was into wrestling, and they were in TNA. You know what? I could buy that because they like to do the action sequences like Sabotage and everything. But Billy Corgan?
Don't get it, dude. But hey, he saved the day for TNA. I mean, TNA wouldn't have had a show if it wasn't for Billy putting up some money.
It would be like Jacob Dylan from the Wallflowers.
That's exactly how it would be.
He decided he wanted it. Maybe he's going to join Global Force.
This is what TNA is. This is just oddball stories. Oddball storylines. Weird stuff.
Everything about it is weird and all comes together and makes a show.
Yeah, and that comes together for a show. That's what it is. But yeah, so we don't know exactly what's going on with TNA, but we do know that Billy is now part owner and bailed them out. Now, there's a lot of other little side bits of this story with TNA and money and Pop TV, and that allegedly the deal with Sony 6 for the TV deal in India and the UK, it includes a tour of India. And believe it or not, folks, India is the hottest market for TNA wrestling right now.
Huge.
They love it over there. So if they do not go on a tour and pay for a tour and ship everybody over on the plane and production and venues, if they don't do that, they lose their contract with, I think, India and with the UK, which right now is 1-2 when it comes to people watching TNA wrestling. So very interesting stuff if that doesn't happen, because that's a lot of money to put all your talent on a plane for what 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So who's gonna if they're barely able to put a show on in Orlando,
how are they gonna do it there?
How are they gonna do it there?
They will find a way, I guess. Well, things are probably a little bit cheaper there, right?
India? What are you trying to say?
Well, I
That's
think
because people bathe in their own
I just think that it's less expensive.
Steve Guy.
There's an exchange rate.
Steve Guy, I don't know if you want to go down this road, Steve Guy. Why is it less expensive over there, Steve Guy?
Because our dollar amount is worth more. It's a cost of living thing.
Should I put some
I don't know if it is or not.
I want to put some CNN economy guy sound bed stuff behind this. Steve Guy, Chief Financial Advisor to This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Can you tell us why India is cheaper than
certain parts of the world are? That's just listen, I know people who've gone to Thailand, and you can stay in a hotel for a nice hotel for $35 a night.
There you go.
So, I mean, it probably depends upon where they go in India, but there are portions that are less developed, so things are a little less expensive.
Steve Guy, thank you for joining us here on This Is Awesome Wrestling Show.
I'm a knowledgeable man.
Money Hour.
Knowledgeable man. I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, we'll see how that happens and that transpires, and hopefully TNA can stay afloat.
They are so big in India, though, that Dixie is really pushing to find a female Indian wrestler that she can put on TNA and sign. So, I mean, they already have what's the guy that teams with Grado? He does.
Sheena? I think Sheena.
Yeah, I can't remember. He does the dance.
Yeah, he does the dance.
Yeah, it's real catchy.
Yeah.
What's a better dance, that or the fandango?
Push.
Yeah,
because they're both bad.
Or the old Emma.
Oh, I love Emma. Yeah.
Yeah, you like that one?
I like that one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our interview with Hornswoggle and Brian Mars. Before we get into that, you guys should check out AIW's new podcast called The Card Is Going to Change. It includes myself, Chandler Biggins, and John Thorne, and they delve into everything AIW from the origin of Absolution to their first show, which was about JLIT 2016. Just basically pulling back the curtain just a little bit and giving you some insight of what it takes to run a wrestling promotion. So they're on iTunes, they're on Stitcher, they're everywhere. The Card Is Going to Change is the name of the podcast, and some great episodes coming up. So make sure to check that out.
And don't forget Friday. If you are listening to this still this week, Friday, June 17th at Tequila Jack's in Menor. Huge lineup. That'll be a fun show.
Yeah. What's in the basement, Klopek?
Yeah.
Right?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
Sanjay Dutt will be there.
Yes. EC3 will be there. Grado will be there. So a lot of great international talent will be in some rinky-dink bar in Menor on the Lake.
It's going to be a good time.
So we'll both be there. So say hello if you see us. So, all right, let's get into our interview. This interview features Brian Myers, a.k.a. Curt Hawkins, who was the former tag team champion, was featured in the main event of WrestleMania. Well, he was a part of it.
Sort of, yeah.
He was on TV during the main event.
He was, yeah.
He wasn't in the match, but I mean, he was there.
And this is his second time on our show.
Yeah. And then we have Hornswoggle, who recently was released by WWE.
Yep.
Made an appearance here at AIW. One of his first couple appearances post WWE. And we talk with them about just leaving WWE, probably the people not speaking up for themselves in WWE.
Yeah.
Some funny stories about Zack Ryder and other wrestlers as well.
Yeah, we talk about their relationship. These guys have been friends for years now at this point.
So let's get into it. Part 1 of our interview with Hornswoggle and Brian Myers, a.k.a. Curt Hawkins. Welcome back. This is Awesome Wrestling Show. Our guest this week, we're going to go back to mid-2000s, late 2000s.
Late 2000s.
Yeah. We're going to bring on a former tag team champion and a former Cruiserweight champion.
In fact, the one that ended the whole
The last
altogether.
one ever. Still reigning.
The bastard of the Cruiserweight division.
Bring on Brian Myers, a.k.a. Curt Hawkins, and Hornswoggle,
Dylan Postle.
Dylan, with the whole
bastard,
Muppets
Lil
2.
Bastard, Muppets Most Wanted,
Whatever the
star of
fuck it's
Leprechaun
called.
Origins, only two-time movie star, before Miz
Leprechaun,
even.
yeah.
I mean, Miz is in a lot of
Before all
movies,
that.
so
Yeah.
Now he's
Pretty
like
sure
an
Hogan did a lot
18-time
too.
Marine.
He's in the Marine 18, I think.
That's not even a fact at all, so you could just erase that.
All right, so the one thing that you guys both obviously are wrestlers, but one thing I learned listening to Dylan on the Art of Wrestling podcast is that you were a promoter, and you also are a promoter.
Technically, I am, but I don't really consider myself that.
But you
I have a school and we run shows there.
yeah, you run shows.
Yeah, but it's very. I'm not trying to, set any records or anything,
But you still have responsibility of
Of course, yeah.
putting on a show and
Yeah,
whatnot. So even though you're a wrestler, you're an entertainer, you still have the behind the scenes
For sure,
know-it-all to put a show on.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's
Plus, we
You
grew
know
up.
what, I'll
We grew up playing with wrestling figures, doing the same
I'll
exact
say
fucking
this:
thing. So
I was off the road, and it was like I went to my buddy Weimer, and I said, "Hey, I'm bored. Let's start running shows." He goes, "Yeah." Yeah. He goes, "All right." I said, "Let's just try one." And one turned into two, which turned into three, and it was. Now we're coming up on 3 years in December.
What's the hardest thing when trying to put on a show? Is it booking people? Is
No, getting
setbacks and shit. That's
my-
what drives me nuts. Oh, I can't make it, or whatever.
Oh, I
stuff
don't.
like
Yeah,
that.
that doesn't happen with us a lot. The biggest thing with me with us is getting like numbered seats in order. Like people don't realize there's a goddamn Post-it note on your seat. That's where you sit. If your ticket matches that number,
it? Yeah.
fucking sit there.
It's fucking tough, though.
It's not tough.
It's a little
Also,
petty
this is
stuff.
this is how half-assed of a
My
promoter I
son-
am. My shit's straight general admissions. You get there first, you get first row. Like that's how we roll at
My
Creative
son
Pro.
is 6 years old and he can match.
Yeah,
he could match
that's
at
true.
3.
Yeah.
Idiots. Oh, it pisses me off.
That's the hardest part.
I think a month ago, 2 months ago, we wouldn't be able to sit here and have both of you guys on. Obviously, really, really good friends, both of you. Here at AIW, you tag team back together. 2 matches this weekend, two today.
2-0.
Today.
Yeah, 2-0
2-0.
today.
That's the
killing
most
it.
I've worked in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I
He
know
just doubled his matches in 2 years in one day.
I know you obviously you guys want to work for WWE or you reach the pinnacle there, but being back to the indie scene and being the tag with your buddy and vice versa, that has to be a cool thing to do.
No, that
especially
was
coming back
that
and
was
doing
incredible. That was super fun. Yeah, that was like couldn't ask for more fun than that.
It's the cool thing to me is I thought I was working singles matches and then promoter says, "Yeah, you're gonna tag with Hawkins," and we're tagging in a couple weeks again, and it's like I brought him in for ACW in December, and he booked me for his wedding after that.
It's not exactly
not
how
a
that
very
works.
good pay. Not
It's
a
at
very
my wedding party. It's like kind of like a
not a
nice
very
thing.
good pay
It's
for
not-
that
yeah.
though. Let me tell you that. Yeah, drunkenly, idiot. Biggest planned spot in wedding history, and I'm
Yeah,
somehow
it was
a
a planned
drunk.
spot. It was funny.
Yeah, but it's fun, man, and like I said, when I'm tagging with my best friend, it's easy. It's so much easier.
Can we? Yeah, I mean, let's peel back the curtain a little bit
we go.
because Mr. Myers here obviously wasn't in WWE for the last few years while you were.
Yeah.
For people listening, for a lot of them, they're like, "Really, Curt Hawkins and Hornswoggle? How the hell did this come about?" I mean, how did this friendship start? Was it before that, even before WWE, or
No,
was this
no.
SmackDown
No,
08?
Him and
I'd love to hear your version of it because I don't. What I
I'm
don't
pretty
even
sure I know the version.
Okay.
You and Zach came up. I was riding with Punk. We always had that huge. We always got the van with like 8 of us.
Yeah.
You guys then got the free car. So
Yeah.
he then had you guys always get a huge van and your hotel rooms and that, and we always jumped in with your stuff.
Yeah.
And then we always took one of your hotel rooms without even asking, and you guys, one of you,
No, I mean,
no,
okay.
we would do that, and one of you, Zach, one week, I legitimately remember hearing him say to you, "If they just fucking asked, I would have no problem with it." And I go, okay. So from then on, I always asked. Whether the other did, that
I have no memory of that whatsoever.
always. That's
But
exactly
that's true.
how
When
it
you
happened.
start with WWE, they'll get your car and hotels for like the first 3 months. So because you're getting, you're making more money, so you don't necessarily have that money in your bank account when you start.
Right.
So they help you out for a little bit, essentially. Zach, I was and am a huge CM Punk fan. So Zach tried to put me on blast in front of Punk as soon as we got up. Like, he's a big mark for you.
The
He's
wrist
a big
tape.
mark for
The
you.
wrist tape.
Yeah, he just tried to but
Don't-
it didn't work. It actually backfired. It made Punk like me and trust me. So that was when we were doing like darks and stuff, or we would just be there for TVs. Then we got called up and we had the free car. He's like, hey, let's go with the new guys. And they were riding at the time,
Yeah.
so we all kind of started riding like that.
And and he said it on his shoot interview and that it's with him and I, we're wrestling fans. There isn't a lot of them in the company.
Especially at that time, I feel there's a lot more like Johnny Ace is hiring a lot of like football player guys that never watched wrestling.
The Batistas and then the veteran guys that are much older than us that we're wrestling fans. That's through and through. That's all I know is pro wrestling. And so I think that was always our bond too, is wrestling. And we just loved talking about it all the damn time. And it became, it was me, him, and Kofi for 2 or 3 years straight riding together, and we 2.5 men we called us. It was me and my, and it was just funny. It was
we
so much fun.
this last night
it
at
was
the
like,
hotel.
When we started last night, last like 10 years ago, it was like a little bit more shunned upon to be like a fan. You could be a mark or whatever. Where now I think that's finally breaking. Where it's fine to be like, yeah, I grew up watching this and I fucking love it, and that's why I do it. And
DVDs are finally being watched.
That's okay. I don't know why that was like shunned upon, but it was when we first started. You kind of like.
And it's so stupid.
I think there's a difference between being a mark and being a mark for yourself, and that's the line you need to walk.
It always pissed me off though, because football players are are you gonna get yelled and bitched at if you're a football fan? No. In reality, you're not.
I'm saying I don't agree with it. It makes sense.
It was always so stupid to me because we'd watch DVDs and what are you watching that, you fucking mark?
Well, it's funny you say that because you think about right now the NBA playoffs are going on, and people have always been, obviously we're out of Cleveland and LeBron being here, but people have always been so big on him being such a student of the game and love how he can just rip off all these stats from players in the past
cool.
and he'll tweet and he'll watch stuff. But you're right, in the wrestling world, it's totally a double standard there.
Him and Tyson Kidd are the LeBrons of wrestling. They will tell me things about what I've done. That's the vodka and waters have taken over my brain. I would say the bumps, but everyone knows I'm not taking bumps.
I don't know if that's something I'm necessarily proud of, but I probably couldn't handle like a 7th grade math test right now. But I could ramble off some dumbass wrestling trivia for you.
Every pay-per-view in 99 of ECW.
just like pointless shit it just stays in my brain. I don't know.
It's something we love, and it's something we've always loved.
Exactly. That's all it is.
My son, who's 6, it's all he knows. I always laugh because he knew the whole WWE roster before his ABCs. By music play, everything. He still loves it, and they're in Green Bay on Monday, and I'm not obviously going to be there. But he asked me, he goes, "Can Papa take me like he always?" Of course he can. So he always wants to go still, and with our school and our shows, he's always in the ring. So he loves it.
Well, let's talk about, Dylan, your career specifically here. I love the fact that you do not shy away from, you're just like, everybody, midget's the word. That's great. And it's the last 10 years in a company that goes through guys with gimmicks that are quote-unquote regular size. Not exactly a lot you could do, but they found every which way.
It wasn't half the time. It wasn't good. I'll be the first one to admit that.
Your run with Khali was awesome.
Yeah, that and
said nobody ever.
When I tagged with Mark Henry those times, that was great.
Right.
But it's I always laugh. I'm leaving tit sweat on your table.
That's a first, huh?
Yeah, I really feel JR was right. I need to lose those LBs, I guess. But no.
Cosmetic business, Dylan.
Cosmetic business. I love you, JR. I really do.
Well, he listens. It's good you gave him that shout out.
Good. What was it? Oh, tit sweat. Yeah, before tit sweat. I always laugh about it now because it's like every thing that had like an open ending that they didn't know, give it to Hornswoggle. That's got to be Hornswoggle. I just laughed about it at the end. But I had fun. It was literally Johnny Ace told me when I got hired, kid, this is 6 months. 6 months and done. Somehow turned into almost 10 years, and it's awesome. It's really cool, and it's something I don't regret anything. I'm not angry about any. The wellness thing is the only thing I'm angry about, but that's completely, is what it is. The way they handled it is what I'm angry about.
Oh, should we touch on that or just pass on by?
If you look at me, you know I'm not a drug user. I'm fat. Let's be honest here. Shy couldn't piss for a piss test. I literally texted him and TJ.
It's basically like when you start the test, it's a running clock. You have 2 hours to get it done. End of story. Yeah.
And
so he couldn't do it. He got pee shy and just left with those
shy
sample.
bladder.
And for the people who don't believe that story, I always tell them the story that one of the guys in talent relations called him and goes, well, congratulations, you broke a record in the company. First person to fail for not peeing.
It's just, that kind of pissed, I'm not going to
But
lie.
that's still failing because you failed to submit.
But that's the wording they could have used, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but they say it's protocol to put up what they put up.
No, it's not protocol.
I mean, whatever.
But it is what it is. I'm not angry about it. It just, I feel it's handled very poorly, and I don't know. It makes, especially with a son and a career, it makes me look like a drug user.
Perception was that you were a crackhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in that, and then I couldn't, I couldn't speak about it. So
Why couldn't you speak about it?
I couldn't speak about it.
It's, Adam Rose, who posted a lengthy thing about from his doctor and whatnot. And I'm not. We're not getting into it. I'm just saying, guys speaking up for themselves.
Oh yeah.
And you want to speak up for yourselves, but you want to keep your job. And I feel like if you,
it's a fine line,
it's
you're going to get in more trouble for doing that, or you just do your time and move past it.
But ultimately, it's you. It's your career where you leave WWE.
So I'm saying it's a choice you got to make if you're in that situation. That's all.
It is really a fine line, but it's sad to see because they're just holding you in the palm of their hand, and they can squish you or let you
but also they're making a 4-year-old Dylan Postle's dream.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Making my kid happy. That's what matters in the end.
Yeah.
It's only 30 days they weren't paying me to live my life and to live my dream. So could have been a lot worse.
Give me a moment to where between you two that there was, let's say, wrestling term, heat, or you hated each other. Was there ever a time to where I couldn't stand the other guy for this, a little bit of time, a period, or a story?
To the pop. I mean, we're always ball busting and shit. Like
I don't think we've ever been.
I don't think like legit mad. No, but one time, we were walking in the car and you hit me from behind and then you tried to get away and then I soccer kicked you in the ass so hard that my foot swelled up.
I was so fucking
whap! Like flat foot on ass.
And
he dropped like he got shot.
Oh, we were around the Kofi.
And I was like limping, like, oh fuck! It couldn't have been like harder.
He and I looked. We were riding with Kofi. Even Kofi.
Kofi loved it. He's
Kofi's
just an
laughing.
innocent bystander, watching and laughing.
He even went, God damn, Brian!
Yeah.
Like
the more,
but it was
Dylan and Ryder have a more funny relationship.
We love each other. It's a drastic love.
It's it's been brutal.
Yeah,
things that can't be repeated have been said to each other.
And
just
a lot of the things I know when I get a reaction out of Brian, if I say something to Ryder and I get a reaction out of Brian, it's like oh Jesus. I know I went maybe a little too far, but it's back and forth.
Ryder was also, I don't know if he still is, but when we first met Dylan, he just thought Dylan was disgusting, dirty.
Yeah, he still does.
Yeah, it's he didn't like touching him or shaking his hand or anything.
Oh, remember
and so then he would just purposely mess with his bag and shit, or or we get into this nice hotel, brand new hotel, and Dylan would drop his pants and just start jumping up and down with his bare ass on his
like a dog itching his ass.
Bare ass on wherever Ryder was sleeping, and he'd be like, no!
He's a germaphobe too.
He's a germaphobe.
So I'd immediately drop my pants and I'd sit on his pillow. And he'd get so fucking mad.
Just hoping he'd get pink eye.
And then he put his ass on my bag handle, and so then I
got real aggressive.
I was in the bathroom, and he was trying to take a photo of me pooping, and so I proceeded to come out with toilet paper and chase him
around the room.
Do the noise.
Do the noise. He has his hand, just wiped his ass, so he has this shit paper in his hand.
Oh, God.
And he chased Ryder around this little hotel room, did 8 laps. He's freak. He was scared. You would have thought fucking axe murder was in this room, screaming, running away from him and shit.
And then he proceeds to tell Brian, he chased me with shit paper. And Brian goes, you put your bare ass on his bag.
Yeah.
And he goes, he put his bare ass on my pillow. And I go, stop. I go, are you hearing what's happening right now?
Got really aggressive.
But it was, man.
All in good fun, but no one ever got legit mad at each other,
ever.
I don't think, yeah.
It was so much fun.
And it's great too because you guys, Indies, WWE separated, it's different companies, but now you guys can travel together.
We see each other.
Yeah, man,
you can make new stories.
I kind of felt like my other really good friend in the business is Luke Gallows, and he just got re-signed, and then Dylan got let go. Not that I would wish for Dylan to lose his job or anything, but now I'm like, oh, okay, this is not so bad. I can still look forward to seeing him at places and shit.
There was 2 people I called, and this is I swear on anything. There's two people first 2 people I called when I got the call. First one was my dad to let him know, and the second one was Brian. And it's because I know he'd have a plan for me. I know no matter what, he could help me because he's been doing it now a while. And so I know I would be taken care of. And if not, by him, he'd be able to help me get the mindset of, all right, asshole, don't sit on your couch and throw a pity party. Hit the ground running. You need to do this. And he did. And I say I love it. He got me like 13 dates within 3 hours. And it's crazy what he did. But it's just funny because I legit, and it's going to sound so gay, I don't think there's been a day where we haven't talked ever in years. I mean, years between just groups or just us or
especially
something.
The group chat is really like, that invention.
It's just a bond.
It's just
Who's in this group chat?
We can't disclose that information. Yeah, we just call it the chat.
The chat, yeah, and the chat is very.
It's nonstop.
How vulgar.
My wife wants to kill me.
I have to. There's the other morning when right before I flew over this, I woke up to 108 messages. Monday nights are the worst.
Someone finally told me that they have to turn their phone onto airplane mode to catch up because you try to read them and they keep going. They have to put it in airplane mode, catch up, and then turn it off and then try to
I did when I did JR and Austin's podcast about 5 minutes in. I had to put the chat on Do Not Disturb. I was like, oh my god, Steve's gonna get so pissed.
Yeah.
But like I said, there legitimately hasn't been a day where we don't talk or that. My best friend Josh, they talk now. They're friends. Yeah. I'm friends with his friends. It's like my dad loves him. My dad, you going with Hawkins? You gonna take care of you? He's awesome. And I've slept at his parents' house so many times. His mom cooks hell of an egg breakfast. She literally just I came up.
Eats a hell of an egg.
Yeah, breakfast. Oh yeah. I came up one day. I slept and I think we went out one night, and so I stayed at his parents' house, and he was staying at his place. I came upstairs.
Oh, no, I can explain this story.
Go ahead.
From the top, if you want to hear it. It was Royal Rumble
2011.
2008.
No.
Yes.
The Cena one?
What did we just say? I'm the fact guy. You're the fucking alcoholic. So
I'm the alcoholic.
Royal Rumble 2008 was in the Garden. So that's Sunday. The night before, there was a house show in Providence.
Yep.
I told Dylan, Mike Knox, Jesse, and Festus. They were flying in. They weren't booked on the house show, so they were flying into New York. Me and Ryder had to do the house show first in Providence and drive like the 3-4 hours back that night. So I told my civilian friends, like my high school buddies, like, hey.
They're not soldiers.
No, they're civilian friends. Yeah. So I told them, hey, the guys are coming in early. So I said, take them to the local bar, show them a good time, whatever. I'll see you guys at like 1, 2 in the morning when I get in from this loop. So I get to my local watering hole, dead sober, and I see him walking up and down the bar with a thing of
apple pucker.
It was some kind of booze. Some kind of booze just pouring in people's mouth, like just patrons at the bar, and this place was like rock, and everyone is having a good time. I'm like, holy shit. So I gotta like round them all up, like Mike Knox and Festus and Jesse, like him, get them all. I get them. People were sleeping all over. There were so many guys. Like some people were staying at my place, some people were staying at my parents' place. So I finally get the whole night like situated, go to bed. And then I come over in the morning to my mom, so she's like, I'll bring everyone over for breakfast. So she says that she sit there reading the paper at like 6 in the morning, whatever, 6:30 in the morning, drinking coffee, and this midget in his underwear, who she's never met before, just walks up from the basement. Yeah. Never. And he just goes, hey, I'm thirsty. Do you have any water? Yeah. My poor mom's just sitting there reading the paper. I failed to mention, there'll be a midget in the basement when you wake up.
She just did the sequel to The Leprechaun.
Yeah. So for some reason, I forgot that I was staying at his parents, so I was expecting him to be up there, and I remember walking up and seeing his mom going, hey, good to meet you. I'm really thirsty. Do you have any water? But she jumped right up and she got me.
She's very,
you need some eggs? Are you hungry? She made me eggs. It was just me there, too. I was the only one staying there.
In your tidy whities.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What a visual.
My nut hugger's just there, meeting his mom for the very first time. And I think your dad walked into there.
Yeah.
Hey, I go,
they're insane.
Hi.
They get up at like 5:30 every day. Yeah.
Oh, it was so much fun.
All of our shows and interviews are on iTunes, Stitcher, and we always post them, so you guys can check it out. Subscribe, leave a comment, rate us. Really appreciate all the feedback we get from our interviews and our shows. So, like I said, just search This Is Awesome Wrestling Show on iTunes and Stitcher, And each week, you guys can be reminded of our shows, which drop Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, usually. All right, let's get into the CWC, the Cruiserweight Classic.
Classic. Shouldn't something have happened to be a classic already?
It's true. Well, the Cruiserweight division hasn't been around in a while, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a classic.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
A lot of notable names. A lot of names that we already knew were going to be on this list. A lot of couple surprising names.
Yeah.
We see a couple familiar faces.
Well, how about Tajiri being back?
I love this guy. The ECW.
That's crazy. That's fun, though.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
I think he was probably in the 40s, right? I'm sure he came over, for ECW when he was a youngin'. He is 45 years old, so
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's still young. And when coming to former WWE talent, the Brian Kendrick,
That's right.
who has been helping NXT divas like Eva Marie and other wrestlers in NXT. So he's been around WWE, so it's no surprise that he's in this tournament. And I feel like bringing on some veteran guys, probably it's more to gauge some of these guys that we have no clue who they are.
Yeah, almost like they're working with a trainer there.
Basically, yeah. So you might have these guys advance a little bit, but the newer guys, maybe it's more of a test for these guys when it comes to making their name known in this classic. But we have Zack Sabre Jr., who we've seen here in Cleveland.
AEW, yeah.
We have obviously Gargano, Tommaso,
Cedric Alexander, who's been on this show.
Yeah, Tyson Dux
also has been on this show.
Good for him.
Yeah,
And,
so happy to see Tyson on there. And you wonder, though, because he's worked with them before, I wonder if he's kind of in that role, too, of like a Tajiri or Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, I can see that, but I mean,
because he like you said on this show, I mean, and even off the show, like he's talked to them about training at one point.
Yeah, and also scouting as well, because scouting in Canada, and
right.
Lance Storm has that gig right now. Also, TJ Perkins, Drew Gallic, and then names that we have never heard of.
I was gonna say Rich Swann, though. We saw it evolve. That's fun. Some
Sean Daivari, his brother is in this tournament. But other names, you look at these guys' faces. We're kind of big in the indie scene, and some of these guys are foreign. Some of these guys are from
Japanese talent here.
South America and in the UK. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be interesting to watch, and I think you'll probably see like Gargano and Tommaso probably advancing deep. I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny is in the finals.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be? Here's a little spoiler alert for everybody. Would not be surprised to see Tommaso turn heel on Johnny during this tournament.
So
there's a little spoiler alert for you. But yeah, dude, I'm pumped to watch and just to see some returning faces come. And I'm also curious when you have these two guys who are former WWE, champions, cruiserweight and not WWE champions.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Champions in WWE.
Yeah, they held titles, yes.
That with the brand split, and there's been rumors of WWE calling old talent to come back because they're going to need a lot of people for this brand split.
Yeah.
That they are, almost maybe, not diving right into the pool, but, putting their toe back into it, seeing how they work, and maybe these two guys can be part of the brand split.
Well, it could be.
So I'm looking forward to this. We'll see how it plays out. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like Tommaso and Johnny and, guys that we know, Rich Swann, guys that maybe a little bit know here in America probably advanced further than these other guys. It's more of a measuring stick. I feel this is a glorified tryout, so to speak.
Which this is actually, this is really great. And as you highlighted, guys from all over the world, this is a great opportunity for them. Kudos for WWE for bringing them into such a public tryout, as you put, because how many of these guys, it's like, yeah, you could tear things up over there, but really you've got to be in New Japan, or that's it in terms of WWE looking at you. as being like a main player, or you've got to come over to the States and be in this indie circuit so they can come scout. I don't feel like their scouting is as strong. They don't have as many people throughout the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So to be able to bring them in firsthand, that's great. These guys a lot of these guys are going to get that shot, that opportunity.
Yeah, so with NXT probably going to be purged with this brand split,
Sure.
you're going to have to look for new talent. And we talked about this, a lot was about WWE NXT maybe having it was at its peak last year
Yeah.
when Owens and Finn and Samoa Joe, you had all these guys in one show, especially with Sasha and Becky and Charlotte.
Right, yeah.
That, okay, they're in the main roster now. You're going to have a little bit of, who are these guys, and haven't developed real talent until they can pluck away the stars of the indies again.
Right.
And especially with the brand split, you're going to have less pickings with NXT because most of the people now, like Finn and Samoa Joe, maybe some tag teams are going to be going up to the main roster to fill out the brand split. Seeing who they have here, especially in the Cruiserweight division, can see, okay, this is what we have. This is what I have to work with. We might go to you later on, and it's a good test. So kudos to WWE for doing it, and let's see how it works out. But my transition to another topic is with reportedly, this is, if it's on the internet, it's true. Vince and creative are reaching out to former WWE talent to fill in these rosters when the brand split happens, which happens. It's going to be a month, less than a month away. So if you had a choice of maybe bringing back some old faces to WWE, which names come to your mind instantly?
You just dropped a lot of people. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, this would have been a great... Well, they just had that Black Friday, as they're calling it.
Yeah, but
would have been a great time to bring back a Damian Sandow and let him have a run.
Yeah, he already had his time.
I mean, but
Cody already...
It would have been good to hold on. It would have been good to hold on to those guys for this moment to make them... You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just far thinking ahead, this would have been an opportunity to make a Cody Rhodes finally.
I'm sure they were told that this is going to happen, that...
maybe they just said that. Don't worry about it.
Those guys just want to be released from WWE. They're not going to stick with WWE because they have a brand split and be featured more. Even if they're featured more, doesn't mean they're going to like what they're... if Damian Sandow is a comedy guy. I mean, does he want to be a comedy guy?
Right.
His whole career?
Do we? Do you see the return of Chavo? I mean, he's got a good thing going over at Lucha.
Yeah, I can see that. Me, like a Shelton Benjamin, a John Morrison.
Also, yeah, he's over at Lucha too.
Carlito.
It'd be great. I would love every time Primo and Epico are on Raw. I just think, man, I would love to see Carlito come back.
It'd be great.
Can you imagine the Colognes to take on the Bullet Club?
Could you imagine?
Of course, then we start to break down and we look like the DOA and everybody else from the 90s.
Could you imagine tag team of Crime Time coming back?
Would love to see Crime Time come back. I know they would love to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about it all the time.
Yeah, Crime Time. See that.
Would
pop your 40 and check your rollie.
Yeah.
It's Crime Time.
What about I don't know, Michael Hutter?
How about
Derek Bateman come back?
How about this guy? How about we give him a call? How about Scott Steiner coming back to WWE?
Yeah.
Would you like that?
I would love to. Of course, I'd love Scott Steiner to come back.
Let's give Scott Steiner a call.
Maybe Jeff Jarrett can come back. I don't think Global Force is working out so well.
See if Scott will.
Ask Scott how he feels about the brand split.
Give him Scott Steiner a call right now.
He thinks he'll be here. Will Hulk Hogan come back?
It's been a while since we called Scott.
It has. Fans love it.
Automatic
Voice message. Sorry.
Maybe episode 100, Scott Steiner will answer the phone.
That'd be amazing.
Would be perfect. You never
Or
know.
I hope he answers on episode 98 or 99, so we've got a little bit of time, and then we could do episode 100 at Scott Steiner's Shoney's.
Well, episode 100 is, I'm not sure what day is that? What week is that?
12 from now.
Yeah, so that's 3 months, so that's September.
Yeah.
Middle of September. So I don't know how we would do that at Shoney's.
We just go to Shoney's.
Let's go there.
Just go.
Well, we are going to be planning a WrestleMania trip. I'm planning on driving to Orlando, stopping in Memphis for Jerry the King Lawler's barbecue place,
Yeah.
and then driving from Memphis to Atlanta for Scott Steiner's place. And then
Sure.
Atlanta to Orlando.
Interesting you bring up Jerry Lawler,
Yeah.
because reports are that at a recent show he told some folks that there would be 2 network specials a month now with a brand split.
You know what? You know what, Jerry too. People ask Jerry the most off the wall question, because I've been sitting with Jerry when he signs autographs, and people just ask him like, "Hey, Jerry."
They all ask him that manner too.
Seriously, I mean, down in South, this is a, "Hey, Jerry, what we gonna be at SmackDown or Raw? What are you gonna be on?" And Jerry, thinking that these guys don't have internet, they don't care. Like, they're not gonna go and email Meltzer.
Yeah.
Hey, SmackDown's are gonna go live, because the whole SmackDown Live thing started with Jerry,
Right.
when he said it to a fan. So he must have said something to the wrong. Well, doesn't really matter. I mean, okay, the wrong fan who has actual dial-up computer and typed it out on their website. Oh, Jerry Lawler told me this.
Would you be interested in 2 network specials per month?
I would be open to it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I hated the fact, back when we had the brand split and Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views, that you had to wait every other month
To watch the other.
to watch a Raw pay-per-view and a SmackDown. If they, every other week, during the month or back-to-back Sundays,
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
To me, it always would have made sense to you get 3 matches from SmackDown, 3 matches from Raw, or however many matches are in the card. You know what I mean? You split it down. But yeah, maybe that'll be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't
We'll
mind
see.
that. Now, this opens up and we should do a whole show on this, the wrestling pay-per-view names that WWE should use for extra shows.
Bring them back.
Halloween Havoc, the Great
Bring it
American
back.
Bash.
Yep. Now, they did say that SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble would still remain. I think Survivor Series needs to remain a joint show.
They are.
Like,
Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Survivor Series. 4.
is it 4?
Yeah, I think it is.
I only saw 3.
Oh.
Yes, the Survivor Series wasn't on it. But Survivor Series is the perfect one to have SmackDown versus Raw.
Now, I loved, Bragging Rights was a terrible name, but I loved how they had the ring with the blue side, with the blue ropes that meet halfway, and then the red. Like, I love that little setup. So if they have, don't bring back the stupid Bragging Rights Cup. Like, come on, we're not idiots.
Sure.
Like,
Bring back War Games.
War Games would be terrific. 3 rings.
SmackDown versus Raw.
That'd be awesome. I would love that, but I feel like they would be losing money in first row seats having 3 rings.
Well,
especially.
yes, of course.
But I mean, I would love that'd be great. Halloween Havoc, Starrcade.
Starrcade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bash at the Beach.
Oh, yeah, Bash at the Beach would be fun.
Terrific. So, I mean, come on, creative. Don't make these stupid pay-per-view names like Fastlane and Battleground. Come on, you own the rights to these names.
Yeah. No Mercy was a good WWF one.
Bad Blood was good. Armageddon was a good one.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
Those were good stuff.
Did you say No Mercy? No Way Out?
No Way Out. I was like something with NWO. What was it? No Way Out, yeah.
No Way. I mean, Elimination Chamber, I'm sure maybe will be one. Maybe
Way Out was when they Vince first brought back NWO.
Yeah, that was their first appearance.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, the NWO.
He was in the mirror, looking in the mirror.
No,
I've got to get evil.
That was before No Way Out.
No, I know, but when he was announcing that they would be there.
I'm going to inject.
I'm going to inject.
And then you're like,
I'm gonna.
okay.
What I created, I'm gonna kill it. I'm going to inject. Yeah, Vince. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, so pay-per-view names would be terrific. I would love to see like those WCW theme ones, but then again, Vince has a hard-on for making sure. Hey, everybody knows I beat WCW. I'm not giving any credit to what they do unless it's for selling DVDs.
We will. But two per month means that we will probably not get our entrances.
What do you mean?
Like
What?
the stage setups.
I was thinking that too. I think maybe they'll have a unique setup for SmackDown because this is going to have two different road crews and two different setups, two different
Right.
rosters. They'll be completely separate than Raw. It's not going to be the whole crew traveling together like they do now. So I can see a different setup for SmackDown.
We had WWE creating jobs.
Yeah, and then bringing having a unique setup for these pay-per-views would be terrific. It's just you watch these old network stuff and like this stuff can't be that expensive to do like a unique setup. Like
Yeah.
bring back the old Backlash setup.
Unforgiven. That was
Yeah.
another one.
Bring back all these old setups. Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
You don't need to have the same generic HD setup.
No.
Like come on, let's mix it up a little bit, Kevin Dunn.
Get it together.
That was so bad, Steve.
So I said, get it together.
I would not want to. I would be like, okay, if you said to me, "Get it together, Glenn," you said it to me like that, I'd just be like, okay, this guy doesn't mean business. Get you, get it together. Yeah.
Well, I was in jest.
I know.
Hey, shout out to Zach Gowen.
Yes.
He was on American Ninja Warrior.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome to watch him. Did you watch it? Did you see it?
Yes, I did. I watched Zach.
Oh, that's right. And then you made Gregory Iron his
it's
video.
a video for him. I had Matt Eisman on my own podcast, who is the host of American Ninja Warrior,
Yeah.
and we talked about Zach. And dude, Zach could do that with one leg, and I couldn't get past probably the first obstacle.
Yeah. Hey, look, same here.
So
yeah.
kudos to him. I love the barrel roll when you grab onto the log
And he just
and you roll down. I could probably do that. I can buy a latch on with my dear life to do that. But the whole jumping 5 feet over water
that was incredible.
on the incline
Yeah.
was terrific. And then you had the whole hanging on the ring and trying to swing.
Yeah.
A guy fully functional with two legs. I don't know how he does that. Let alone trying with one. So kudos to Zach.
No, he did awesome. That was cool. It was very, very cool to see, and obviously, opened a lot of people's eyes. And that's an inspirational guy, no doubt about it.
He's one of the few that have faced off with Vince McMahon in the ring.
That's right.
There's only been a handful of guys,
Yeah.
and Zach Gowen is one of them.
Yes, he is.
It made me want to go. It made me go back and watch Zach when he first made his appearance in WWE, and you had Sean O'Hara. And you had him and, who else was in the ring? Roddy Piper was in the ring. And you had them beating up somebody. And I want to say it was Kurt. Was it Kurt?
Angle?
So Sean O'Hara and Roddy Piper were beating up someone in the ring. And then Zach came out and tried to help the guy that was getting beat. And Piper pulled off, was going to drag Zach into the ring. And pulled off his leg, and Sean O'Hara's like, "I'm out of here. Like, I'm not having the part with well, you just did that." But yeah, maybe watch Zach, taking chair shots, dude, from Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
Brutal.
Lesnar
chair
gave him an
shots.
F5. I think,
dude.
I think I remember that.
I would gladly take an F5 over the
Chair shots.
Chair shots unprotected
Yeah.
to the head, which doesn't fly today. Then going one-on-one with Vince was terrific. And then, he still wrestles today. And, obviously American Ninja Warrior. A very, very touching story. And I'm sure we're past the stage of, feeling sorry for Zach because he has had a great career.
Right.
And does things that...
Well, he doesn't want people to feel sorry for him. He wants to inspire those who are in a similar situation. I think that's great, but he doesn't want people to feel sorry for him.
And it was great to see Greg there, Gregory Iron.
Give him that support, yeah.
Give him the support. So,
some TV time for Greg.
Congrats to, we'll see how it goes, but Candice LeRae, who had a Lucha Underground, I don't want to say tryout because she was already offered a contract previously. She turned it down. But her and Joey Ryan faced off against Sami Callihan, who just signed a Lucha Underground contract earlier this year with his girlfriend Jessica Havoc in a tag team match. So the crowd did chant, "Please come back" to Candice.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe she will be in Lucha Underground.
She got the Please Come Back chant.
I would like to see Candace in NXT, but hey, whatever breads her butter.
Yeah. Just got to make those dollars.
Or butters her bread.
Butters her bread? Yeah.
I feel like Yogi Berra. This is Awesome Wrestling Show. Anything else, Steve? Steve Guy?
Nope.
No?
I got nothing. Think it's time to get to the awesome finish?
I think it's time. Let's do it.
All right, my awesome finish this week, getting the F5, are Real People Day Jobs, because I have one. And Real People Day Job kept me from being able to be on this show last week because it extended past the regular hours and I couldn't make it over here. So I guess more specifically my company, but I don't know if anybody listens. So let's just go with Day Jobs as a whole. Big F5 to you. You receive my awesome finish this week.
F5! Here comes the pain! The F5 connects! The F5 connects!
My awesome finish, Steve, goes to all the fans out there, and you're going to get a big old top rope Vader bomb. If you're in Cleveland, and you're a Cavs fan, you're a Cleveland fan, and you tell me to defend the land, I'm going to smack you across your head and order Vader to give you a Vader bomb. It's not defend the land. What are we defending from? It's go Cleveland, go Cavs. Nobody knows what the land is. There's plenty of land, cities with the land in it. Could be anything. Let's say go Cleveland. Whatever happened to the good old cheer of saying go Cleveland, go Cavs? Defend the land is dumb, stupid, and whoever came up with that idea should be smacked, laid down on the mat, and given a top rope Vader bomb.
Vader going out now, Samuel Vega must move! Straight on! Oh! A Vader bomb! For cover a count! And a victory, and I might add a very impressive one.
That's going to do it for this week's This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, episode 88. 12 more till the big 100, which will probably be in the middle of September, Steve Guy.
Oh boy, I'm on a family vacation in September.
You're going to do a vacation?
I'm on a family vacation in September.
Are you serious? What day?
The week after Labor Day.
Oh man, that's going to be.
I gotta check the calendar right now.
We're going to check the calendar when we get off the show here, and if Steve Guy is not going to be here for episode 100, I might have to find a replacement for episode 100.
Well, they're going to get my surprise?
No, you got to be here.
Oh,
you got to be here, Steve. I'm going to have Ryan Kelly fill in for me, and I'll have Justin Summers come in and do episode 100 with me. He deserves it. He deserves it.
I'm just looking at the calendar, and I think I'm going to be on vacation.
We'll figure it out after the show. All right, this is AwesomeWrestlingShow.com, Facebook, Twitter. Please subscribe, leave a comment, rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. We really, truly appreciate all the feedback we get from our shows. Steve Guy, hopefully you're here next week.
Yeah, man. Planning on it.
Friday, AIW. Say hi to us. I'll be there doing commentary. Steve will be doing ring announcing, so say hello. Say hello to us. Boo Steve. Cheer me. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next week.